Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be the start of the Honda CBR steel frame, turning it into the Mally Mile Scrambler. Cue the intro. So this is going to be the beginning of the series where I'm going to change this Honda CBR 600, that's an old track bike. I'm going to try and turn it into the Mally Mile Scrambler. So what I'm going to do for that, well, to start with, we need to make sure it runs, okay? So I did quickly the other day, we had a quick look at it. On the dash down here, there's an ignition. You can turn that on. If you can hear that, there's a fuel pump going, doing something. Doesn't stop. But it sounds like it wants to go. So what we're going to start with here is I'm going to strip it all down, take all the fairings off, take the tank out, get to the carbs. We're going to give the carbs a clean out to start with. See if we can get it running to start with. That's going to be the initial plan. Then after that, long term, what we're going to do is obviously all the fairings will stay off. I'm going to take these forks out, take the original forks out, and the yokes, hopefully put some new yokes in, and I'm going to fit a spare set of Aprilia Pegaso off-road forks that I've got. Obviously then I can put I think it's a 19-inch front wheel, spoked wheel on the front. On the back, I'm not too sure what we're going to do yet with that. I'm going to see if I can swap the swing arm over. I think it might be a bit too much work, but either way I want to put then a spoked wheel on the back wheel. We'll modify it a few ways. I want to put some proper off-road handlebars on it, and see if I can get the V5 for this. So because it'd be really cool if I could ride this on the road as well. So obviously put some lights and bits and bobs on it maybe. But make it a bit of a scrambler kind of thing. I mean, it's small. This is a small little bike. This is going to be with some raised bars on it. Let me put you over here. If you can imagine putting some bars on here, we'll probably have to do something with the foot pegs. Obviously, I want to try and bring the foot pegs down, put some bars on it. It's going to be quite small, light and nimble. Be good in those off-road races at the Mally. It'll be good fun. So anyway, what we're going to do now is, like I say, I'm going to strip all this off and let's see where we get to. This is going to be filmed over a while. You can see at the minute I've got my work clothes on, so there'll probably be a bit of skipping about. A bit will be done tonight, a bit will be done another night, so we'll just keep updating and we'll make a little video out of this and we'll make a series out of it and we'll see where we get to. Quick cut back in, so you can see now the fairings are off. She's all stripped down, well, not stripped down, but we're taking some bits off. Tank's off, air filter's out of the way, and while I've just taken the air filter off, I've just found across here a little lever for the choke, which I didn't realise comes out there, and then you can operate the chokes. I thought, I'll just flick the ignition on, pull the chokes and just spin it over and see what it does. It actually gave a little cough like it was going to come into life. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to chuck the tank back on it, reconnect the fuel, I'm going to spin it over and see if it will fire now when I pull the chokes. Let's have a look. Right, fuel tank's back on, I've switched it back on, it made a bit of gurgling noises as if some fuel was going in. So let's turn the ignition on, pull the choke. Let's see what happens. as soon as I pull the throttle, it's dying, so the carbs are going to have to come out, it's going to have to be clean, but it runs. No, second I touch the... Just going to open the garage door a minute because it gets smoked out. It's not letting me rev it up, so the carb's going to have to come off and be cleaned out because obviously the idles, whatever, they're going to be gummed up. It's been... No, we'll leave it at that a sec. Well, at least we know it runs now anyway, so... And it sounded alright actually. A bit smelly, it's a bit dusty, but also what I did find, show you something. So when I took the tank off, filter okay, 15th of the 4th 21, 2WS, engine oil and filter new. So that would kind of marry in with when my mate said they got it running a couple of years ago, year ago he thinks, something like that. And then they parked it up and they've not done anything with it since. He said it had the carbs cleaned out and it had a service and it's not been anywhere since. So it kind of, it all rings true what he's saying. So hopefully now I'll continue taking it apart, we'll get the carbs out, we'll give them a clean up, hopefully she'll idle on her own. But I mean, that sounded alright, didn't it? That was a bit of a result. I can't believe that just started up. Right, let's crack on. So the carbs are off. So they're out. Now the fuel in the tank didn't smell too bad. I was like, this is gonna be alright. But now I've taken the carbs off, which you can see there. It stinks of varnish. Gone off fuel in there. It is really bad. As soon as I started pulling them out, it got that smell of varnish and gone off fuel. So I'm going to lay these out now to get the fuel out, tip them upside down, take the bowls off, we'll give them a bit of a clean out, a bit of a spray through. Hopefully it might just be as simple as that. We'll see what the condition of them's like inside. Hopefully they're not too, well, I don't think they're going to be too bad because I know they've been cleaned previously, so hopefully, I mean, and there's all copper grease and stuff, you can tell. Although it's an old track bike and I was obviously seeing a bit of action, you can tell it's been maintained well. You know, everything seems to be okay on it. There's no, doesn't look like it's been butchered too much. Obviously, it's got cable ties and things holding it and stuff, so it sounds like I'm, you know, having cable ties on things and bits and bobs like that. It sounds like it's been bodged, but it's been bodged professionally, if you know what I mean. It don't look too bad. So anyway, let's get the fuel out of these, then let's get the bowls off and let's have a look, see what's going on. So that's all the bowls of the carbs, as you can see there. Now generally they do look quite clean, so it's not too bad, but I mean, that is old gummy fuel in there. There is some, you know, there's just signs there that fuel has been sat in there and it's gone off, and it smells. They smell of old paint tins and gone off varnish. It doesn't smell good in there. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to call it for tonight, to be honest with you, but we'll get all the jets taken out next. I'll probably give it a spray out with some carb cleaner in the bowls and everything. Give them a spray out with some carb cleaner. Chuck the jets and that in the ultrasonic bath for a little bit of a clean out and pop them back in. But I mean, yeah, I don't think it's going to take a lot to get these going again. They've definitely been looked at. You know, it's definitely, they're not old shitty carbs that are full of full of gunk. That's got a different float in it, that's been changed. Yeah, it's just been left with fuel sat in it. You know what this new fuel's like, you know, new unleaded fuel, it's not good for the carbs, is it, for them to be sat in there. So hopefully be a nice easy remedy if we can give this a lot of clean out, and we'll get it in the cleaner and see what happens. Right, it's a few days later for me, but still the same day for you. So as we left it last time, if you can see, I'd got the carbs out, got the bowls off, but I did actually take all of the jets and everything out. We can see, yeah, and you can see, I mean, look at the state of that. It's disgusting. I didn't film taking these out because the battery had gone flat on the GoPro by the time I took these out. I don't know if we can focus on that, but that is actually blocked. So I did give the inside a quick blast out with some cleaner, but what I'm going to do now is we're going to chuck all the jets and everything into the cleaner, the ultrasonic cleaner. Then yeah, give them a blast. I'll give these a bit of a spray out with some carb cleaner, blow all them out, and then reassemble it. So yeah, these actually look, I'll give them a clean actually. These look like they've been cleaned up with a got like a bit of a texture to them. It almost looks like they've been vapor blasted or something. But anyway, they'll have to go in the cleaner as well, give them a blast. So yeah, right, let's chuck the bits in and let's get them cleaned. Right, just going to pop all the bits in. Tell you what, let's pop one of the bowls in as well. We'll get another one in there. So this is just an ultrasonic cleaner. These are quite cheap to buy off eBay. They're not expensive. I've forgotten how much it was, but it wasn't expensive. 20-30 quid. Ideal for cleaning carbs and bits and bobs. If you've not got one of these and you mess about with carbs, you really should get one. But just set the temperature on it, set the timer on it, so that's on. Put that on. Horrendous, horrible noise. But we'll let that do its thing. We'll come back to it in a bit. Right, that's just beeped. Can't really see a lot in there. That's nice and warm. It's cleaned all the crud out of there. What we'll do is I'll pick all the bits out. We'll pop them on there, leave them to dry off. We'll give them a bit of a blowout. I'll stick the other bowls in as well. Let's just have a look. Yeah, what I might do is stick the other bowls in and just give them another go in. I mean, that's a lot cleaner. We'll give them a blast. Won't hurt. We'll have another look in a minute. So here we go. We're ready to reassemble. So all the jets and everything, they've all been cleaned out and blasted through. One of them was still a bit gunked up, but I've managed to clear it. I mean, ideally, what I might do long term is probably see if I can replace these. But we'll get it started first anyway and see how she runs, but wouldn't hurt just to chuck some new jets in for what they cost. So what we'll do, we'll assemble, we'll put the camera up, so put one of these back together, and then I'll just get the rest done off camera. Right, let's try and get that a bit where you can see it. So let's hopefully I'll put this all back in the right order. So we're going to put that in there. And then that I think is a 7mm spanner. I'll not put it away, that's there. Nip that up. Not too tight. Pop him in there. Little flat head in there. And then we'll pop this in there. Can't really see what I'm doing, can you? My hands are in the way. tweak that down. Right, that's tight. Now for the fiddly bit, which always, I'm going to pop the float back on. I've not adjusted any of the float heights and nothing, you know, I've not messed with any of those. I'm assuming they're going to be right. I'm not, at this point I'm not checking them. We just want to get the bike running. If we've got any running issues with it afterwards, we'll look more into it then. But let's get one of these in and the pins back in. In there, pin through there, and in there. Now then, that's that one assembled. What we'll have to do, we'll screw that on there. Always make sure you've shut your drain bowl afterwards, because a number of times I've put carbs back together, you start filling them up and fuel's pissing out the bottom because you've not done that back up. But that's that one. I'll whip the others back together and then we'll cut back in as we're about to stick them on, because we're not far off now from seeing if this is going to work, and fingers crossed she's going to purr like a little kitten. And there we go, carbs all back together, built back up, the air intake back on. So all we've got to do now is get them back in here, and then we'll be able to fire it up, and fingers crossed that she starts up. I won't film putting back in. What we'll do is I'll get them back in, and we'll get ready for the startup. So I'll put them back in, we'll cut back in a minute. Right, you can see the carbs are bolted back in there. I've just connected the tank up, switched it on. I'll probably just let's pop you on there. Hopefully you can see there. So let's pop this on here. So the fuel's on now. Pop a clip on there. There's no fuel dripping out of anywhere. So let's switch the ignition on. Fuel pump's going. Let's pull the chokes. Let's give her a little twist. Running on choke at the minute. That's roll. Choke going off. Let's give it a little bit of choke. Yes. No choke. Oh, she's a bit boggy there. I mean, it's not been running for God knows how long, has it? Right, switch that off because it gets smoked out there. I'm going to have to open the door, but that's a win, isn't it? That's a win. The free bike, she runs. I'm going to have to run it up properly, up to temperatures. A bit boggy there, but I mean, it's not been ran for God knows how long, has it? So I'm going to call that a win for now. I'm getting smoked out in the garage. Hang on a minute. that's a win. I think we'll leave that there for now. Oh, let me get some air, I'll come back in a sec. Well, after the smoke's cleared, should have opened the door to start with, we've got it running. The free bike, the free CBR, the bike that's going to be going to the Mali Mile next year, she runs. So my next plan is obviously at the weekend or something, I can get it outside, run it up to temperature a bit, make sure all is good. But I mean, that sounded fine to me. She's not ran for a while, she's going to be a bit boggy and stuff, needs a bit of clearing out. But my next plan with it next will be to try and see if I can make the off-road wheels and suspension and stuff fit. So what I'll probably do next is give it a bit of a clean up, get everything cleaned, and probably look at trying to get these front forks off, swapping over the yokes, putting some different forks in and seeing if we can get the spoked 19-inch wheel in, and then seeing if we can get spoked wheel in the back. Whether that's changing the swing arm as well or not, I don't know, but that will be the next plans. Keep tuned, we'll keep going for updates, I'll keep filming as I'm doing bits, and we'll bring you guys along so you can have a watch and see how it comes along and watch the progress. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching, take care, bye bye.